Ask the Expert, brought to you by Auger Hollingsworth.
Welcome back. It is time to Ask the Expert on Your Morning Ottawa. You can see the information on your screen there. We are going to be talking about potholes and the impact it could have on you. And if you got any questions for Brenda Hollingsworth at Auger Hollingsworth, why don't you send them our way? You can give us a live phone call, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. So today, we are talking about potholes and what your rights are if you are injured because of a poorly maintained road. So if you got the questions, send them our way. Good morning to you, Brenda.
Yeah.
You know, you think about potholes, and when I'm walking, I can see some rather large ones in the road and on the sidewalk as well.
Yes.
And I think about people who have mobility issues, you know, and maybe have impaired sight. And I think that's a big old hole there. Somebody could twist their ankle,
and they do.
Yeah, and they really do. So talk about some of the injuries that can happen if you hit a pothole.
Yeah. So sort of whether you're in your car, on your bike, or a pedestrian, potholes can affect you. Okay. So pedestrians, you're absolutely right. It's not just twisted ankles. It's full on broken ankles, broken wrists, broken hips. Like very serious injuries from people stepping in potholes where they don't expect it. The other thing that happens with potholes and pedestrians is that they become, at this time of year, they become little bowls that hold water and then freeze. You're walking along a pretty clear sidewalk, and then there's like a deep pothole that you can't see, and it's ice. That's true. People fall all the time on these ice-filled potholes. So they are definitely hazards in the walkway, and it's something that we have to watch for at least another couple of months while we're still susceptible to freeze-thaw. The other thing that happens very often, I have a bad habit of taking pictures of these things, in crosswalks. There will be potholes in crosswalks. And so when you're at an intersection and you're crossing, you are even though you've got the right of way, you're watching for traffic, you're watching the lights, you're watching for bicycles, all kinds of things. Maybe you're not also looking at the crosswalk, and there's potholes and people, you know, you fall in the road. That is a real danger, because then you are maybe not visible to motorists who don't expect someone to have fallen in the middle of a crosswalk. And you're injured. So that happens. Okay, so Brenda, I think about potholes, and I think, you know, especially this time of year, Mother Nature likes to fool around with us. You know, it's going to be +7 today, and then it's going to be +15, and then +18, and then it'll drop. So you get this flux of weather, of temperatures, and then that creates these potholes. I'm thinking, do we blame Mother Nature? I mean, who's responsible for the potholes? Well, the potholes are ultimately the responsibility of whether it's the city or the province, whoever is responsible for the roadway or the sidewalk. But you're right that not every pothole is going to result in responsibility or compensation. So there are rules about sort of how deep a pothole has to be bad, how wide it has to be, like a crack or a pothole, how wide it has to be bad. And those are published in bylaws and regulations. So if you are injured in a pothole or a crack, you got to get measurements. Yeah, because that matters. We are going to talk about that coming up after the break. What happens? You know, you injure yourself hitting a pothole. What do you do? What are the steps to take immediately after that injury so that you yourself can be protected or have a good chance of getting some compensation?
Ask the Expert, brought to you by Auger Hollingsworth.
We are back with Brenda Hollingsworth from Auger Hollingsworth. A reminder, we are talking about potholes and what your rights are if you are injured because of a poorly maintained road. You can see there, Auger Hollingsworth, their information is on the screen, 613-233-4529 if you want to get in touch with Auger Hollingsworth. So let's continue this conversation, Brenda. We left off with what you do if you are injured? What are the first steps that you need to take?
Right. So obviously, after any accident, you're looking after your safety and your medical condition. So don't lay in the middle of the road, etc. But assuming it's safe to do so, the most important thing is to capture an image and measurements of what it is that caused your fall, assuming you're a pedestrian or your cycle fall or whatever it is. So for a pothole, you're going to want to have a measurement of the widest part and the deepest part. And you're going to want to do that ideally with a ruler or a tape measure, and you're going to want to get really good photos. So we will do that, right? If you're our client, you come to us fast enough, we'll go out and do it. But if you don't know, you're not sure before, you're taking some time, get those measurements, because hopefully that pothole is going to be filled at some point, right? And you can excavate a pothole. It has happened that people excavate potholes to get measurements, but it's never going to be as reliable. So you want the widest part and the deepest part. And as many measurements as you can with a tape measure, with good, good photo, make sure it's clear. Take a few different angles. The more photos you have, the better.
Okay, but Brenda, what happens in the case where maybe you fall? You're outside, you fall. It's embarrassing. You're shocked.
Yeah.
You may be a little scared. You just want to get out of there.
Yes.
And then you leave. Can you come back maybe even a day later?
Yeah, the sooner, or send somebody.
Yeah,
right?
or send somebody.
The sooner you go, the better. But obviously, you probably don't have a tape measure in your pocket anyway.
Exactly.
And the tape measure function in the phone actually wouldn't probably hold up in court. It's not that reliable. We've tested it. So, you'd go back with a tape measure. And if you send someone, make sure you send them to the right place. Because we've had lots of photos of the wrong place over time.
Okay, that's good to know. So we're talking about pedestrians and motorists hitting potholes. What about cyclists? Yeah,
so cyclists and potholes are a very bad mix. We have had many injuries over the years where cyclists are mostly on a bike path or on the side of the road, and they hit a pothole and they go over their handlebars. That happens a surprising number of times. And cyclists know this. They are on the lookout. So another risk is that they will move to get out of the way of a pothole, and that can bring them into traffic, right? And so if you're a motorist behind a cyclist, you got to be mindful of that 1 meter obligation. Give them space. You're looking for potholes, and you need to expect that a cyclist is not going to go over a pothole. They are going to go around the pothole, and you have to watch for that so you don't hit the cyclist from behind or from the side.
Okay, quickly here, what kind of compensation can someone expect if they do hit a pothole and they are injured?
Yeah, so just like any other accident, it'll depend on the injuries. We'll look at your injuries, compare it to other similar injuries. The tricky part with potholes is proving the city is responsible. That's going to come down to the measurements, and it's going to come down to how long that pothole has been there, whether the city has known about it. So there's lots to talk to your lawyer about. Okay.
Once again, it's always great to have you on talking about your legal rights here. We're talking about potholes and what you do in the event if you are injured, and what kind of compensation you can expect. Here is the information if you want to reach out to Brenda Hollingsworth, 613-233-4529. Brenda, thank you so much.